So the next part that we are going to is the concept of domestic territory and the normal resident. Now, domestic territory helps us to estimate the domestic product. Why? Because domestic product includes all the production activities which are taking place within the domestic territory, but it can be carried out by both residents as well as non-residents. Okay. However, normal residence helps us to estimate the national product. National product includes production activities of normal residents irrespective of the fact that whether performed within the economic territory or outside the economic territory. So hope you can understand. So domestic territory helps us to understand the domestic product. Normal resident helps us to understand the national product. Okay. Next is the factor income and transfer income. Factor income refers to income received by factors of production for rendering the services in the production process. You have earlier learned the factors of production are land, labor and capital. So when these land, labor and capital are providing factor services, they are earning income. This income is called factor income, which is in the form of rent, wages, interest and profit. Next is transfer income. Transfer income refers to income received without rendering any productive service in return. It is a one-sided payment. It is not included in national income as it does not reflect any production of goods and service. It can be received either within the domestic territory of a country or from abroad. So, factor income is a kind of income which is generated in exchange of any service which the factors of production are providing. Okay, so it is helping in the production process. But if we say about transfer income, as I said, it is a one-sided payment. Means in exchange of it, we are not providing any service, we are not providing any goods, nothing. So there is no economic activity against it. So it is a one-sided payment. Okay. Now, for example, old age pension. When provided to the old people, do they produce anything or do they contribute to any economic activity? No. Scholarship, unemployment allowance, pocket money, etc. Okay. Now, these transfers are of two types, current transfers and capital transfer. Current transfers are made out of income, whereas capital transfers are made out of wealth. Current transfers are generally regular in nature because it is made out of your income, it is regular in nature. Whereas capital transfer which is made out of your wealth is irregular. Current transfers are meant for consumption purpose. Capital transfers are meant for capital formation. Current transfers includes old age pension, unemployment allowance, etc. Capital transfers means capital gains tax, war damages, investment grant, etc. Now we will move on to the next part, that is final goods and intermediate goods. Final goods are those goods which are used either for consumption or for investment. So goods purchased by consumer household as they are meant for final consumption, or goods which are purchased by firms for capital formation or investment like purchase of machinery. So final goods can be of two types. First, which is consumed by us, consumer goods. Second, it can be goods which are used for further production. It is bought by other producers or firms, okay, and used for further capital formation or investment purpose like machinery. Okay. Now, intermediate goods. Intermediate goods refers to those goods which are used either for resale or for further production in the same year. So goods which are used to again be resold or for use in the production process is called intermediate goods, like milk purchased by dairy shop. Goods for use for further production like milk used for making sweets. Okay, so important. Now the next part is, now as we saw in the final goods, it can be consumer goods which are consumed by us, or it can be used for capital formation. But in case of intermediate goods, what is happening? These goods are not purchased by us. These goods are purchased by the production units, okay, and used for further production. So they remain in the production boundary only. They don't come into consumption boundary. They remain in the production boundary for further production. Okay. Moreover, they have derived demand. Means if the main final good, say suppose car, if the car has got demand, then its parts like tires, seats, steerings, all and other different parts will have got that demand. If car does not have demand, then its parts will also not have any kind of demand. So it is a derived demand, intermediate goods. It depends on the demand of the final goods. Okay, and these are durable in nature. Okay, these are durable in nature. Now the value of the intermediate good is already counted in the final good. Suppose, as I gave the example of car, when we are producing the car, already the value of wheels, tires, the value of the seats, the value of the steering wheel, everything will be automatically counted in the final good. It does not need to be counted separately. So the value of the intermediate goods is not needed to be counted separately. It is already counted in the final good. Okay.